It's game time. Game time. Game time. We winning, we winning, we winning, we winning. It's game time. Game time.
Testing.
Mic check.
Welcome back to Gametime Greatness Season 10, Episode 6. I'm your co-host, Jake Vassar.
I'm also your co-host, Jackson Jarvis.
GG1 champ, Colin Holmes.
We've got a good one for you today. First up, we're going to go through Week 6 recap. We're also going to compare each team to a Halloween candy. And we're going to go through next week's picks. And finally, we're going to close with a special segment about Texas A&M football. So let's get into it. First up, we have Zach versus Brandon. Brandon beat him with a commanding 180 points to Zach's 93. What are you guys' thoughts on the matchup?
It's pretty embarrassing when someone can't score 100 points. I can't imagine the pain that Zach must be feeling right now.
I also can't imagine not breaking 100 this week.
You got to feel for a guy that can't score 100.
I do want to say it's pretty impressive. Brandon put up 180, and Josh Allen did not put up his usual 40 points. He only put up 19. And really the rest of his team carried hard. He also had a -1 with Gostowski. So go ahead and put him in the under club, under zero. Goose.
Really tough scene for Zach this week. There was a flock of geese flying over Lamb's Cooking this week as two members of his team scored 0 in his loss.
And that was going to be Cam Akers and McCole Hardman. McCole Hardman was a surprise to me because Sammy Watkins was out. But there you have it. That is very typical of what McCole Hardman does. The second matchup of the week was Matty Nice versus Mike. Upset alert, huge upset alert, but I would say not the biggest upset this week. Mike coming in with 169, Matt with 107.
Thank you. Got to send a big thanks to Uncle Mike. Bringing down some of the big dogs, trying to keep the league competitive, keep that middle tier just massive in the league. So big shout out to Uncle Mike.
Yeah, there was an outstanding from the rookie Justin Jefferson out of LSU this week with a whopping 39.6. Makes me really try and reconsider the fact that last week Mike and Brandon said that I should trade Raheem Mostert for Justin Jefferson. Mistakes were made.
Yeah, it looks like you're not going to have that one back. Other than that, I think it was a pretty good performance from Mike. Is his team on the rise? I mean, I said it 2 weeks ago. I don't know. So he went 0-3, and now he's only 2-4. I thought he was on a 2-win game streak, but he did lose last week. But I don't know.
Mark Ingram's out though. Have they said how long he's going to be out for?
I don't think it was major.
They said it's not a severe ankle sprain, but still something to be concerned about.
It's going to be tough for him. He's going to have to deal with Minshew mania for the rest of the year, considering the fact that Tua is getting the start this week, so Ryan Fitzpatrick will not be in his starting lineup. And with the injury to Dak Prescott, it'll be interesting to see how Mike handles these next few weeks.
When we get to the picks of next week, I'm going to talk about Minshew for a little bit, but we'll keep that aside. Clicked it right this time. Third matchup of the week, Jake versus Noah. That's a 168-point win over Noah's 131, and I'm going to deem this the greatest upset in GG history. No bias. Go ahead and talk about how great my team is. Just kidding.
I'm racking in my brain trying to think of any other big comebacks.
I'm trying to think of a matchup where an upset is when a 7 seed beats a 9 seed.
That's the current rankings. It was a 10 versus like a 6. But besides the fact, I did get very lucky. Aaron Rodgers hit 3. I think I joined the goose. Yeah, go ahead and throw me in. LAD did not come through. But my pickups, Trey Burton. I also had Tannehill, Gore, all off the waivers. Really came through for me.
It always feels good when you have a goose and you still win. Because you're like, my team's so good, they can just carry the goose. But yeah, shout out to Rex. Always good when Noah goes down. Always good when the guy who's projected 170 scores like 40 points less than that.
So I was really worried. I wrote off this week, but here we are.
Jake was very down the entire week.
All right, next matchup, we have Ethan versus Grant. Ethan had a comeback one, I believe. Is that right? I'm pretty sure on Sunday night he was projected to lose. Grant, you can fact check me there.
Well, Grant was saying he was a Cinderella. His win would be a Cinderella story.
Oh.
I didn't follow this
Maybe
game. Not gonna lie. Don't really follow a lot of
Losers.
games.
I don't follow
I
losers.
usually write off game that Grant's in as a loss, but that's only because I'm playing.
Jarvis, do you have anything here?
I mean, Grant's in the same boat as I am. Our teams suck, so who wants to watch him play the number 1 seed?
Fair enough. Ethan's team is very dominant, but we will get into that a little more later. Next matchup, we had CC versus Jarvis. Do you have anything to say to your team, Jarvis? Because it was not a beautiful
I would like to formally apologize to my team because of how much I bashed CC on the last podcast that we were on. I absolutely obliterated his just disinterest in the league and his poor team name. And it came back to bite me. I scored a whopping 92.7 to his 175.5.
He did have someone join the Goose Club, Jake Elliott.
And Nikhil Harry, which was very tough.
Yeah, he's on the bench though.
He does owe us though.
I
You got a
started him
double
at
zero.
Flex number 2, and
Yikes.
he did nothing.
He does owe us, some credit though, because we did give him. If we didn't give him the free pass when he changed his name to not have any repercussions,
We did.
he would for sure be losing every game.
Wow.
That
gave
is
him a
correct.
pass.
That is
I
correct.
went like this.
Yeah.
We said
We
no
blessed
bad omens. Wow. That is. You're welcome.
Yeah,
CC.
you know what, CC?
welcome.
You're welcome. I gifted you that win. You
But-
can thank me later.
Not next week. All right, last matchup we have Holmes versus Cole. Holmes did take the L against Cole's 143 to 97. What are you guys' thoughts? Holmes, you got anything to say? Your team also didn't score 100. We've all been there.
I didn't have time to do the math. My first 4 picks, Zeke, OBJ, Mike Evans, Devin Singletary. I mean, they had to have averaged, prior to this week, they probably averaged 20 points, maybe. This week, probably 8. So, I mean, not the end of the world. They all had a bad week the same week.
Yes, Jake, question for the class?
I think we should question Holmes' manager style. He went in and started Tennessee defense. Now, they scored -2, so goose them up. But what were you thinking? They're playing Houston. I know they're 0-4 or 1-5. That doesn't even add up. But they're not good, but they still have a fire offense. I don't. What was your thinking rationale?
I was going to stick with Tampa Bay all week. I panicked seeing they were playing Green Bay. Turns out they scored 19 points, which was a 21-point swing for my game. Math. Yeah. I don't know. I panicked Sunday morning, and that was the best defense I saw. Kind of just a panic ad. Big regrets. Obviously wouldn't have won me the game, but I would have scored 100 and looked a little better. Bad management this week.
I think also Derrick Henry showed us the same Derrick Henry in last year's playoffs with a whopping 40.4 points. I mean, if you got a chance to watch that game, he had a 96-yard touchdown, 94-yard touchdown, my mistake. But he looked like an absolute monster for Cole's team.
I will say, though, if you take away and you give him a normal week, Cole scores 123. So, I mean, are we just expecting Derrick Henry to carry Cole's team to the playoffs?
I think it will, only because Derrick Henry plays outstanding when the weather is cold.
Also, he flexed Zach Ertz. I don't know if we were going to talk about this.
Did he goose? No, he did pretty good.
He got
I think
7,
he got 4
but
catches.
DeAndre Swift got 27 on his bench. Flexing a tight end is a very bold move.
It's a style.
When you have a running back that you can flex that's averaging 15? No, prior to that,
Just the last
13
2
points.
weeks.
I don't know. Okay, for the next segment, we're going to compare everyone's teams to Halloween candy. Just a little festive idea we came up with. It was pretty fun. I think you guys will see, kind of where we're going with some of our ideas.
We had some good giggles when we were coming up with it.
We also went down a rabbit hole. We started debating candies ourselves and found we had a lot of differences, so that was fun. So first up, Ethan. We said Ethan's team was like Watermelon Sour Patch Kids. I don't know if you guys had anything with that.
I mean, I would say for most people, Watermelon Sour Patch is it's the best candy in the market, and I mean, Ethan is clearly head and shoulders above the rest of the league right now, unfortunately. So, Jake, did you have anything?
Oh, I was just going to repeat that exactly. It's the best candy out there. Ethan has the best team out there. That's just how it is this year.
We bought we didn't buy. Jarvis bought a giant bag when we went to the Chiefs game, and we ate that in about 15 minutes. It was incredible. So second up, Brandon. We said Brandon's team was like Reese's. Are we saying Reese's Cups or Reese's Pieces? And we decided
Cups are much better than Pieces. Now, this was a controversial take, and this is kind of what we argued about.
Listen,
candy.
Before we go into the actual Brandon's actual team, I would just to have on the record the fact that Reese's are probably one of the most overrated chocolates, candies, whatever you want to call it. And this is my reasoning why. Whenever you open a package of Reese's, who wants to peel off a second package that is also around the cups? Who wants to do that?
I love doing that.
Whenever I open a bag of candy, a chocolate bar, whatever you want to call it, I just want to dive right in. But no, we have to peel off the film.
Now, that is a true take. It is sometimes frustrating, especially when you peel it off and then like half the Reese's comes off with it. But that motion just signifies I'm about to eat something great, okay? And that's why I wanted Reese's to be with Brandon's team. I think his team is phenomenal, and I think it's going to be number 2 going into playoffs. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but.
See, I had to concede to the Reese's because I also am with Jarvis. I don't hate it as much as Jarvis does. I think it's a trash candy, but I think you have to respect it, and I think Brandon's team is like that. But just reading the names, Allen Robinson, Will Fuller, A.J. Brown, Edwards-Helaire, like Stephon Diggs, like, I do not like that team, but they put up points. They're like, I have to respect it even if I don't like it. And that's what Reese's
Points are points.
I mean, I hate Reese's, but I love that team. I mean, Josh Allen has proved to be legit, so.
I didn't include Josh Allen on my list. Josh Allen is good.
Touche.
Yeah, he didn't want to face the facts if he's the losing. All right, next.
The next up, Cole Bennett. We likened him to Twix.
I kind of forgot why we did this, but Twix are just like good. You're fine with them. If you see a bowl, you're probably not going for the Twix. You'd go for the Sour Patch, but when they're there with all the other chocolate candies, I'd pick the Twix over them.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have anything.
It's just like, it's a consistent candy. It's not your favorite, like.
And it's funny.
Okay.
And it's funny. We're already getting into like it's good, not great, and we're on the number 3 team. I think that's something to note. This year, the rankings are very close, and I think every team could boom or bust / fail and succeed at any given week.
Yeah.
I also get tired of not Cole. I get tired of Twix, which by default I get tired of Cole's team. I don't want them to be good. I'll say it.
Yeah, I feel that. Next up, CC. We said his team was like. CC, you're gonna hate us for this. We said your team was like Twizzlers.
CC is definitely a Twizzlers truther.
Oh,
I don't know if you like them or not. I think Twizzlers are terrible. I am a firm believer that Twizzlers are bottom of the barrel type of candy that you give to a homeless person or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we came up with. Is Twizzlers are a very hot and cold candy. A lot of people don't like them, but they're highly sold, so someone likes them out there, or maybe they're just the free giveaways.
look, they've survived for, I don't know, probably 75 years. They're probably like the first
Here
candy.
we go.
They're probably like the first candy, so they've survived. They're popular.
Well, you know what
Whatever.
Twizzlers hasn't done in the last 50 years? Changed their name.
That is true.
Yeah.
Next up, I will stay out of this. It's me, and they said it was like jelly beans.
Jake?
You can go.
Oh, okay. Jelly bean. I just think Holmes is like jelly beans simply on the fact of you never know what kind of week you're going to get from Holmes. Similar to the fact that you never know what kind of jelly bean you're going to get whenever you reach into that bag. Some of the jelly beans are absolutely incredible, and you're like, wow, I could eat these all day. But some of them are absolutely atrocious, similar to his week where he scored 97 this week.
And on the fly here, I think I would extend this to be the Hogwarts jelly beans, the Harry Potter ones. Some are like jokey and awful, and I think that's what we got. We got one of the like poop flavored ones, OBJ. Poop flavored jelly beans. Week 6 Holmes. Week 7, maybe we'll get a cinnamon. Okay.
Wait,
Maybe we'll get a cinnamon.
This is also on the fly. What's your if you had to pick one favorite Jelly Belly jelly bean flavor?
Oh, easy. Tutti Frutti all the way. You see that pink with the little scattered confetti dots on it? That's the one for me.
I think, to be honest, I think any of the ones that have two colors where it's like speckled something in there, I think those are always good. You can't ever go wrong with any of those.
Hot take:
It's a good question.
buttered popcorn.
That is very hot.
A very good jelly
That's
bean.
a spit out.
And just like that, folks, that is why Holmes' team is similar to jelly
like
beans.
that-
Who likes buttered popcorn?
That's the
as a
one. That's the
candy?
one you spit
As
out.
a candy? Come on now.
Okay, that was good. That was good.
Next up, Matt. We said he was like Kit Kat. I think we said this because Matt, you kind of just forget about Kit Kats. Like when you go to the gas station or you're looking for a candy, you're never gonna ever think about Kit Kats. But if you see it in a bowl, you're like, I'll get a Kit Kat. It's good.
Yeah, Matt. I mean, we're not saying you're forgettable, but if you're thinking, "Ooh, I want to go buy, I want to go buy some candy," you're never thinking Kit Kat. You're thinking that bag of Sour Patch. But if you're given a Kit Kat for free, yeah, I'll take it.
It's a solid candy.
Yeah, nice wafer crunch.
Next up, Jake. This is probably one of my favorites. We said Jake was like dots. I can start us off. I hate dots. Do you hate dots?
Oh, I think dots are absolutely terrible.
Dots are terrible. They get stuck in your teeth. You break your jaw eating them. They're super hard. The only time you ever know they exist is when you go to the movie theater and they're $8 for a box. And now I'll give Jake the chance to defend himself because do you like dots?
I love dots. I knew I was gonna pick something that they didn't like. Now I think I named dots for myself here because they don't like them and I do. I think a lot of people in this league have been hating on my team, and there's a reason for it. I do have some down spots and weaknesses, but I think there's so much upside, and I love my team, and I love dots.
I'll give dots this. When you see dots, there's a lot of potential there. You got some bright
box?
colors.
The box.
Okay,
Okay.
it gets you. It gets you. You see the names. You see the names.
And then you open it up and you start eating it and you're like, why? Why?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like dots. I like my team.
Next up, Zach. Candy corn.
You
This
knew
is
it was coming. Nobody wants to be candy corn, but Zach, you are it.
So when I thought about candy corn, I kind of thought if you were gonna rank Halloween candies, you're gonna have to put candy corn on there, and you're probably gonna have to give it a decent-ish ranking, just because of how classic of a candy it is. It'll probably be in the top of your bottom tier, which is where Zach thrives, in the top of the bottom tier. This man is the king bottom feeder, just like candy corn.
I mean, I don't think there's anything else to add there. That was perfect.
It was that was one of the easiest ones to come up with. I'll say that. Next up,
I like candy corn. Just disclaimer.
do you like Zach's team?
It's okay.
Okay. Next up, Noah. Whoppers.
I'm not gonna start this with Jarvis. Come on, what do you got to say there?
I don't really have anything to say other than the fact that just when it comes down to it,
Another classic movie theater
just
trash candy.
who I've never seen a single person say, you know what sounds really good right now? Let me just go buy some Whoppers.
You better buy a jug of water because you will be parched from a candy. You'll be breathing powder.
No. Okay, so everyone hates on Noah's team and his manager style. I still like Noah and his team, but I do not like Whoppers. All that to say is, yes, Whoppers are terrible, and I think Noah's team is not that good, and I beat him in week 6.
But look, Whoppers always makes it in your trick-or-treating basket,
Somehow.
and Noah will always make it in the playoffs. And I hate to say it.
Ooh,
That's true.
Wow.
That's true.
Another bar.
I know my candy. Next up, Jarvis, Butterfingers. I can kind of talk about this one because
That's all you. I'm not gonna say anything.
we
I
were
think
looking
it's
through
good.
the candy and I saw Butterfingers and Jarvis was saying, we should do somebody who just slips out of playoffs. I was like, dog, that's you. That's you every year. You start off with
hot.
175 points the first 2 weeks, and then when it comes time for you to start looking at the waiver wire, it just starts slipping out of your hands. It's unfortunate. I don't blame it entirely on you, But it seems like every year you have a hot start and it just slips away.
Hey, but this year he's using the waiver wire, so
Yeah.
I think he could squeeze in.
It's possible. I mean, Butterfingers are a decent candy.
Similar to Jake, though, I think Butterfingers are really good and
They're
have a
good.
very high ceiling.
They're good in ice cream.
I still have a high ceiling. Yeah.
Next up, Grant Hershey bar. I can talk about this one if you guys want to hop in. I said this because I was like, you have to think about something like, what's the most just disintegratable candy? And that's a Hershey bar. You get the Hershey bar at the store. If it's any time other than the winter, you put it in your car, you drive home, you try to open it up, and it falls apart in your hand. Like, it just, his team just, like, he's had 2 bad years of injuries. Like, it just was a good comparison because Hershey's just, they melt away. I don't know.
I have one thing to add is you're never excited when you're given a Hershey's. It's only good with other things, i.e. s'mores. Outside of that, leave it for the birds.
All right, last up. This one's great. Mike, we said you were like the bag of pretzels that one family will give out when you go trick-or-treating.
That was a perfect analysis or analogy. And I don't know who came up with that, but it is absolutely perfect. Jarvis, go ahead and speak on your.
No, I was just saying that I came up with it. I think Mike's team is
Oh.
compared to pretzels. You have all these other 11 8-ish good solid chocolate / candies. Pretzels, man. When you're 10 years old and you open your bag after you went trick-or-treating and you just find a bag of pretzels compared to the rest of the candy, I mean,
To the trash.
that's just tough.
To the trash. And also, you open that bag of pretzels and they're all broken, okay? It went through, you're slinging your pillowcase over your shoulder all night, it's getting crushed by all the other candy. You get them and it's all broken. Just like Mike's team, he is dealing with many, many injuries.
Yeah. We can talk about, I don't know, we might not want to go down this hole. Who buys bags of Snyder pretzels to give to kids? Like, if you're gonna go to the chores of going and getting candy for kids at the store, like, you obviously are in the spirit of Halloween, you're not a Scrooge. Who buys pretzels?
All right, and for the next segment, we will be doing picks of the week for week number 7. First up, we have Easy E, which is a 1 seed versus the number 2 seed, B. Scotty. This is very similar to a Bama-Georgia type of matchup. Jake, who do you think is going to win this week?
I think it's going to be Brandon. I could see it going both ways. I'm really excited to see these two teams go head-to-head, but I'm going to go with Brandon.
I'm going to go with Brandon, too. I think Brandon's team probably just put up more points. Ethan, I don't think you're going to get McCaffrey back. As solid as your team is, I'm going to have to go with B, though.
I'm going with Ethan. Ethan has never showed me a reason why his team should lose, and I don't think that they'll lose this week.
That's a good take. He did slouch a little bit last week.
Yeah.
He still got the win.
Second matchup, we have Uncle Mike versus the great CB. A nice little 12-3 action. Holmes, who do you think's taking it this week?
I'm going to go just based off of if I was a betting man, a 12v3 matchup. I don't think CB is worth a true 3 seed, so I'm gonna go with Uncle Mike on the upset. Maybe carry a little momentum from the prior week.
Wow. Okay, I was also gonna go number 12, Uncle Mike. Mike's team, I really think it's on the up and up, and I'm excited for him to win. And we might be in some trade talks right now, so I want to help him out a little bit.
I mean, I'm gonna be the odd man out again. I'm going with the great CB.
Here we go.
I'm never picking a last place team to beat a team in third. That's just the reality.
Another good take. I'm not gonna. That's respectable.
In this game, Holmes, are you hammering the over or are you going under?
Oh, I'm going under. It's gonna be a mudfest.
I would also take the under. I'm not saying a commanding Mike lead. I'm just saying like maybe a 120 to 115.
A dub is a dub.
Yeah.
We should start doing overs and unders.
Survive in advance.
That's
Survive
good.
in advance. All right, the third matchup we'll be looking at is Zach versus Matty Nice. Jake, who do you think's taking it this week?
I'm gonna go Matty Nice. I'm never a believer in Zach's team. I'm sorry, Zach. I think Matty Nice.
Sorry, Holmes, I'm going to interrupt.
That's fine.
I also am going to pick Matty Nice because similar to Zach and similar to how Jake isn't a believer in Zach's team, I also am not a believer in candy corn, which is what we compared Zach's team to. Matty Nice, I think you're taking it this week.
Holmes?
What month is it?
October?
October.
You go with the candy corn in October.
Wow!
I love the controversy
Oh
today.
my goodness.
Woo!
Okay. And the fourth matchup we'll be looking at is Holmes versus Bad Take Grant, BTG. This is a 5 versus 11 matchup. Holmes, who do you think is taking it this week?
Your boy. I'm taking it easy. Easy dub.
Okay.
Wow,
Well,
okay.
just for the sake of controversy, I want to pick Grant because I think Jarvis is going to go with Holmes, but I'm going to go with Holmes because I care about me being right more than the controversy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Holmes as well. I mean, even though it is Halloween, Grant, there's no costumes that your team can put on that you can show out this week.
No picking it
Hate
this
to break
time.
it to you. I'm taking Holmes. The next matchup we have is Rex versus CC, a very highly anticipated matchup.
A lot of memes.
Holmes, who do you think is taking it this week?
This one's hard. This probably, I think, it'll be the closest game of the week. I'm going to go with CC. I think CC wins.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think all of the time that Jake has put in this past week in trying to boost his own morale and making a hype video for himself, I think that's just going to come back and show that it was an absolute waste of time. I'm going with CC here.
But CC, he spent time in Photoshop on the meat.
Yeah, it takes like 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like, I mean, he spends about that much time on his fantasy team every week too. So I do want to say a lot of beef went down with me and CC last week when I was talking about how I have 2 bye weeks coming up, i.e. CC and Mike. I think Cousin Mo's gonna help me out this week. Big momentum last week, and I think I'm gonna do it again. I will say I'm gonna hit the under on this game. I think I'm gonna get an ugly win.
All right, and the last matchup is myself versus Noah. Jake, what's happening this week?
This is the one matchup I haven't really thought about. I'm gonna take Jarvis, just because I like rooting against Noah, and it just feels right. But truthfully, I don't know. I don't know how this one's gonna come out. We're sitting. You guys are both on 2 and 4 cusp, so this is.
Is this make or break?
Yeah, this could be playoffs or no playoffs.
What are your thoughts? Are you nervous?
Oh, are you nervous?
I'm very nervous.
Did you think about it
this
as
week.
make or break?
Yes, I know that this is going to be a tough week. If you're looking at the spread on this game, I would say definitely go with the under. It's going to be a very low scoring matchup between myself and Noah. I still am going to take myself. I'm never going to root against me, but Holmes.
I'll say Noah. Just because I don't want to always vote for the panel.
Okay, we had a lot of controversial picks. I like it.
All right, and for the final segment, we will be talking about how A&M gets into the college football playoff. Jake.
No, it's Holmes. It's Holmes.
Holmes.
All right, so we're just gonna go through like the teams in front of us and who we think's locks, who we think will get out, and how it will fall in. First up, Clemson, easy lock, hardest game of the season they'll play. Notre Dame, fraud number 3, but it'll give them a quality win, and they'll be fine. They'll win the ACC championship.
Bama, also a lock. They're going to win the SEC championship, and they're in at number 2.
They need to win the SEC championship. Number 3, Notre Dame, like Holmes said, frauds. They have to play UCLA, that's a loss, who are also frauds, and Clemson, that's a loss.
Number 4, Georgia. We can go down a whole rabbit hole. The quality loss, like rooting for Bama to win out when they're above us in the SEC West, I think is normally a false statement, but them having to play Georgia twice, you are wanting Bama to win out and beat Georgia in the SEC championship and hand the SEC East team that's in the top ranking 2 losses, which will give us a chance.
And the reason we're rooting for Bama now is because they already beat Georgia, and Georgia's already a one loss. If it was, we were rooting for Georgia the previous game, but anyway.
Yes.
All right, and then number 5, we have Ohio State. I mean, I don't think they're in. They're starting way too late. They're in the Big Ten. Big Ten is very overrated this year, very overhyped. I don't even think they want to play up there.
They play less games than every other conference.
So they shouldn't be in. Realistically, they shouldn't be in.
Realistically, they shouldn't be in, but we're going to slide them at number 3. And then currently number 6, Oklahoma State. We're going to say they lose one game to a Big 12 team. It's a non-quality loss. And
Big
they're
12
out.
is
See
looking
ya.
terrible.
See ya!
They are looking absolutely atrocious.
And what does that leave Texas A&M number 7 to slide down to number 4? And we will play Clemson and have a good game.
You will get beat by 30.
In January or maybe December. That's a wrap.
All I want, at the very least, Jimbo, if you're listening, get us to a New Year's 6. I want to play at the Rose Bowl.
Get us to New Year's 6.
I want to play in the Rose Bowl. I want to go there and watch.
That would be awesome. And with that concludes the 6th. Here we go. Holmes is holding it in. That concludes the 6th podcast. Please like and subscribe in the bottom left corner. And also, go ahead and go follow Gametime_greatness on Instagram.